Okay, so I feel like I keep alluding to my LinkedIn posts, but honestly, the things that I've been writing on LinkedIn are things that I'm actually experiencing in real time and that I'm like reflecting on um, with the Life First business. And one of my posts within the past few weeks, I talked about setting an income ceiling, not just a floor, and it got quite a response. And I think that's so funny because I feel like we obsess over minimums, like with whether it's rent, mortgage, bills, whatever. But then we treat the top of that spectrum as infinite. And like, I feel like ambition became the default of just going higher and higher and higher. But when it comes to a Life First business, higher and higher and higher isn't always better. Would you agree?
100%. And I mean, people say, well, what's wrong with more money? And there's nothing wrong with more money except the fact that it usually comes with some kind of strings attached, right? There's something that has to be done, added, included in order to achieve that next highest level of revenue and income. And that means that you're probably trading off some other aspect of your life in order to get there. So fine if that's what you want, but make sure that's what you want.
Yeah, and not at a cost. I mean, I don't think anybody would be like, if somebody handed me a $1 million check, I want to be like, oh no, I don't want that. Like, I don't know a single person that would turn that down. I'm sure they exist, but I think we're talking in terms of work specifically, and what are the trade-offs? Like you were saying, like whether it's your time, your health, your relationships. Sometimes reaching that next level comes at a cost, and you just have to ask yourself, is it worth it? And it might be worth it, for especially if it's a finite amount of time. Maybe you need to work really, really hard for just a little bit to get to where you want to be. But I think if you have the I always want more, I always want more, I always want more mentality, you will never arrive at the destination you're searching for as a Life First solopreneur, because it will never be enough. And I feel like once you realize that, that's when you can really put life first, front and center, and work backwards from there once you have that definition of your enough. And so people are like, well, how do you define enough? And that is a very valid question. And
Well, I won't say an answer, but a thought,
yeah,
unless you have something you want to
no,
say first.
I'm genuinely
Yeah.
curious.
So I think the answer is not a number. It's not to say I'm not gonna go more than $150,000 a year in revenue. The answer is to look at the other things that are important to you and to gauge that next level of income against what it's going to cost you for those other aspects of your life that you want the business to support. So if I said, I want to be at all my kids', sports games, and then I had this opportunity to do something different, but I knew that I wasn't going to be able to be at any of their games on Wednesdays, I could go, you know what? That's okay. I can deal with missing a few games for this opportunity and this level of income. Or maybe I say, you know what? This was my goal in life, was to never, ever, ever miss a game. And so I'm not going to do it. Up to you. But that's, I think, a way to think about this instead of just saying, oh, the number's X, because it just really depends. I mean, like you said, if somebody just says, here's $1 million, all you got to do is, write a blog post, you'd be like, sure. It really comes down to saying, what is this going to cost me elsewhere in the life that I've defined that I want?
Yes, I totally agree with that. And then I also think from an actual defining the monetary cost, like calculate what a genuinely good life actually costs you. Like really think about, how many vacations do I want to take a year? How do I pay my bills? How do I pay for the basics? And then how do I pay for the things that I want to enjoy? Like you and I, we both like going to listen to live music. We both like our coffee shops. You are a Denmark writing cyclist, or however you say
Netherlands.
that word.
Netherlands.
Thank you, Netherlands. Whoops, totally butchered that one. I mean, there's just things that you want to do. So don't think of it as like a minimalist lifestyle. Think of what you would actually dream to have, but then make that kind of the cap. And saving for college, saving for retirement, like just all those things. I know what's important to me, but I know I don't need to be saving for a yacht anytime soon, because that doesn't resonate with me. I have no interest in buying a yacht or
That's
80 acres on
it's
an
good given
island.
given where you live. That's a good thing.
Correct. Yeah, if you buy a yacht in Colorado, you have mixed up priorities. We just need to separate your needs, your wants, and I mean, I don't know, status, but not status spending, but your needs and your wants, and then make enough as your moving target and your real line in the sand versus, and then anything that comes above that, like let's say you have your enough and then you're living the life first business that you want, and then you end up making more because your business is so successful. Great. Enjoy it. Put more towards your vacations, towards your retirement, whatever. We're not anti making money by any means. We're just saying don't do it at the expense of everything else you value in life.
Right. And if you want to do that, great. It's just this is the wrong podcast and the wrong platform. I mean, just there are a million people out there that are helping people scale at all costs, right? I mean, they're all out there. As I've alluded before, when you come to our website, fill out a form and say, I'm looking for a get-rich-quick scheme, we send you a very polite breakup letter that says there's lots of other people that will, be happy to talk to you about that. We're not the place.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, but I think for me, what a ceiling really unlocks is a freedom to say no, because sometimes it's hard for solopreneurs to say no. It allows you to take risks, and it allows you to choose meaningful work. And I don't know, it just, when ambition is the point, then what's the point? I don't know. It's such a vague, abstract idea of just, I just want the chase. I just want the chase. And it's like, if that fills your cup, fine, but it may not be fulfilling in the long run.
Just a quick story. My last startup, it was not a solopreneur venture. It was actually more of a scale at all costs venture, but still, there was things that we decided that we were going to do and we were going to focus on. We weren't going to do anything else. And this company came to us and literally, I think it was $1 million they offered us to do something that didn't meet what the things that we said we were going to focus our energies on. And we said no. And it was kind of weird to be able to, they were like, what? But it's just one of those things where you have to, whatever you're doing, whatever your goal is in the end, there needs to be things that you focus on and things that you say no to. And if it's a life first business, then, saying no to additional income at the cost of your life is something you would say no to.
And I want to throw a caveat in, because I don't want us to come off as like, you don't need to work hard to get this life first business, and you can work a couple hours a day and then go lay on the beach. There will be times where you need to work a lot, and there will be times where you will need to make sacrifices. And we also understand that sometimes it's a necessity, not a privilege, to have that cap. Like, you need to earn money. It's a business. And we fully are aware of that. What we're saying is work towards this business model, like work towards a life first business. It does not mean you'll just be able to coast your way through life. You will have hard times.
I know very few people who have started out and 60 days in are like, I got my life first business up and running and everything's great. It's like, no, it takes a lot of time. But if you're not focused in that direction of trying to build a business around your life, it's never going to happen, because that's not what businesses want to do.
So what we're saying, is make your life first business the North Star, but do know it will take some sacrifice and it will take a lot of work to get there, even when your life is intertwined with it. And even when you're enjoying the ride, it's the life first is the destination for us.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's just that what you're trying to say is we're not talking about building the 4-hour work week business. Lovely if you can do it. I don't know how to do it, but building a business that lets you live life on your own terms is something I have done and something you have done. And it's, but we still work.
Yeah.
And I like work. I like working. I like my work.
Me too.
It's part of what I want in my life first business is this kind of work.
Totally agree. Well, listeners, if you agree, please share this episode with a friend who you think would find helpful. Subscribe to the show on your favorite podcast platform. That was a tongue twister today, including YouTube. And leave us a 5-star review. It helps us spread the word to other life first solopreneurs that may need to hear something like this. So we'll see you next time on the Life First Solopreneur.